the review from the team. The beauty of it is that the whole team is here. If you can enable your camera, that would be great, so that when you record, it's well representative. So again, mine is just to welcome you to this session, module 2 on the Google side. For those who are just joining us, we had all Africa stocking modules covered on virtual sessions, and the recordings are available on Africa stocking YouTube channel and in respective events, including the module 1 that was done the day before yesterday. So check them out on the previous event, Blab, you'll see the video, or Africa Stocking YouTube channel. If this is your first time joining us, all the materials are on the Blab, including the upcoming modules. And you can also join our Slack channel where all our experts are domiciled, and they can support you on real time, depending with where you are. In South Africa, we have some experts. In Nigeria, we have some experts. In Kenya, we have some experts. And across the region entirely, we have some experts. So it's easier to support you on Slack in case you have code issues. You can post a script there or a screenshot that can be looked at and be advised accordingly. Also, you can always reach out on that Slack channel. Depending on the time zones, you can always get someone to respond to you. Also, just to congratulate a few people who have already completed the badges. There's Michael Bryan, who has done 4 badges already. So he's due for swag once it's printed, among many other goodies. So just to give you a breakdown, these are self-paced kind of session, but we are doing this online support to enable you fast track that process. But majorly, you can find all the resources you need, and you can actually do it online and complete some of these certification. So the intention of this program, as Graham pointed out, but I'll give him also a platform to say 1 or 2 words before we begin, is to certify over 5,000 devs across Africa on Google AI APIs, not just using the AI, but also building on the AI. Full-fledged, that is Gemini, and Africa stocking technology. So at the end of the project, you'll be required to build a custom project that represents this knowledge. I can see Toskin already, he has his projects ready. The app is ready. I don't know if he has completed everything. Please share on the Slack channel your badges. Also, we have a form now that is live. You can actually submit all your badges there so that you'll be scheduled for some giveaways. There's also prize money to be won, or in total over $5,000 for those who build an amazing project. But for me, the biggest takeaway here is the skill set that you equip yourself and the solution that you're able to build that skill set. And these other giveaways, experiences are add-ons to this, because that's exactly what is going to solve some of the problems. So finally, I would like to encourage you guys to enable your camera for the recording, because this recording we discovered last time is just records anyone with a camera enabled, which most of the time was the speaker, Graham, and myself for the last session. It looked like we had 3 of us and the speaker. So don't sometime back when video used to consume a lot of bandwidth, now most videos are optimized, so you should not be scared because your internet is, yeah, I can see most of it, and makes the event lively. So without further ado, my name is Michael Kimadi, currently working with Africa Stocking as the head of developer community. It's my honor. I would like to welcome Graham, who is my colleague, to say 1 or 2 words and then invite Rogers. And I'm happy to see a few other facilitators, speakers, and community leaders in the call. Graham, the floor is all yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, MK. And welcome everybody to the Africa Stocking and Google Build with AI Module 2. We're always excited to have you, and also we are very grateful for Rogers. He's been doing a great job. I think you guys have also seen his video online, guys. If you haven't seen it here, you have to go and watch it. Yeah, so we are working on this program to ensure that, yeah, we certify as many as possible. Keep doing your badges. Everybody who does a certain number of badges will expect swag from us. So we are still in the virtual mode, but you can Toskin is asking, by completing the code labs and the modules that we'll be going through. So all of them, there's a link. I think, for example, Rogers will show you some of the notebooks you need to have uh, that he's taking us through. So once you complete the code labs on the Google with your Google developer profile, you should be able to attain a badge. Also, we are going to have tomorrow, we are going to be reviewing social media strategy. So from next week, you can expect, as you tweet, as you share, we'll also be giving you guys some rewards for your social media engagement. So I'd like to invite Rogers to take the session. If you have any questions, please put them on the chat. We'll answer them through the session and also after the session. For the ones who also finished last Tuesday's uh, app, you can just share your link on the chat as well. Ideally, you should have at least pushed it somewhere on Firebase. But Rogers, you can take that also. Welcome, Rogers.
Thank you so much, Graham, and thank you so much, everybody, for attending for joining the session, and also for those who attended my last session as well. Thank you for the same. Right. Yeah. So if you did an application from the previous session, I think that's pretty well. You can also share the link so that we can go through and see how you are able to apply whatever we learned that session. Okay, let me share my screen. Entire screen. Well, hopefully my screen is visible from your end. Okay, thank you. Okay, so today we are going to build AI-powered web application. It's going to be powered by Firebase Extensions and for the Gemini API. Remember, extensions, just the normal way we understand extensions. For example, we have Chrome extensions. We also have Firebase extensions now, which extend the functionality for AI, for someone who wants to build AI applications. Maybe to give you an overview on what we're going to do. This is what we are going to cover for this session. We are going to do something with Firebase authentication. This is where we're going to set if someone wants to sign in with email or Google, Gmail, or something else. And then we're going to do something with Cloud Firestore. Firestore is like a document that holds your data. We are going to see that. For example, if you want to hold a message from the user. For example, if someone has messaged you and then you want to hold that image, you can use Firestore to hold that image as you initiate the AI to do its work. We're also going to do something with cloud storage for Firebase. If you want to store your image, before it's being analyzed by AI, it's a place just to hold your documents, whether it's a document, image, or something which you want to store. We are also going to do something with Firebase security rules. That's one we're going to see how you can enable your security. And then number 5, we are going to do something with Firebase extensions. Now, these are the extensions now which will allow you to create AI-powered application. Okay, everything that I'm going to do, it's under a documentation. I'm going to share that link of the documentation. on the chat. Let me share it on the chat here. Anything I'm going to do, it's well documented here, so you can find every step I'm going to do to carry out is going to be here. And also, because this is Firebase, and we are going to do something with Node.js and code. So I have a repo where every code that we are going to interact with is also here. So I'm going also to share that on the chat on the same. So I have also shared the repo. And of course, what else do we need? Last session, we covered something to do with cloud credits. If you don't have cloud credits, I don't know if, Graham, you have that link. Let me try to locate.
MK can put it on the chat.
Okay, that's okay.
The Firebase credits, the Google credits.
The Google credits, that's okay. So you're going to get the Google credits if you are not connected. Also, what also you need is to have, once you have the credits, you are able to create an account, to create a project on Google Cloud account, and then you are able to connect the credit to your project. Okay, I think we can get started. So what I'm going to do, because we need this repo, so I can first thing clone this repo because we will use it later. So the normal way we do is we copy this and then we clone the repo to our local environment. So I'm going to do that. Let me also open my VS Code. Let me open my terminal first. So I'm going to git clone the repo. CD. I don't know if the screen, which screen I've shared. Let me pass this over to this side.
We are seeing the GitHub.
Okay, yeah, I think it's a window. So basically what I'm doing, I don't know if this terminal can be moved to the other screen, the other side. But let me open VS Code. I think VS Code I'm able to. Okay, I think what I can do. I don't know why I'm not able to move to this screen, but let me switch my screen to this other side. Okay, let me switch the window. Yeah, hope now you're able to see my screen. What I've done is I've just git clone, run the command git clone the repo, and now I have that repo in my downloads. I can have, if I come here to my downloads, I can see I have that repo. It's called CodeLab Gemini API Extensions. This is the repo we are going to use. So I can open the repo from here. I can just take the repo to my VS Code and just leave it the way it is. We will come to it later. Okay. The other thing that we are going to do is set up the project, set up the environment for Firebase. First of all, let me check this. I have so many tabs. Let me first arrange this window. First of all, I want to check if I have Node. I would advise that you have Node version 20 and above. So I can check the Node version. I have Node version 24, which is very okay. And also I want to check if Firebase is installed. So I can check if Firebase CLI is installed on my machine. For Firebase CLI, it's good to have version 13 and above. So here I have version 14, which is very okay.
Sorry, Rogers. We can see your calendar, but not your screen.
Oh, sorry. Sorry for that. I think let me also stop sharing. I share again. Okay. I'm trying to let me do some settings on my display. Okay, I'm still experiencing a challenge. I don't know if there's a shortcut where I can. The problem I have is when I'm moving items to this screen. Let me share. The challenge I'm having, I want to move this. I don't know the settings which are tampered with. I need to move my screen to the display screen, but only. Yeah, let me look at something. Oh, see, just a moment. Accessibility. Okay, I think I don't know what I can solve that right now, but I will keep switching between screens and yeah, for now, let me share a different screen on what I was talking about. Let me share this window. Yep, I think we are able to see this window. Please confirm if you are able to see my VS Code. Is my VS Code visible? Someone please. Okay. Yeah, I think I've figured it out. Okay, I was checking if we have the Node version which is installed, which I wrote a command here, Node version, and then of course the Firebase version which is installed in my machine. So we have the Git repo. Right now we are not going to do anything. When the right time comes, we will interact with the repo later. The next thing that we want to see if we have we create the Firebase project, so we can go to Firebase and then proceed to console, Firebase console. This is where we are going to create our project. Right now, these are the projects I have. So I want to create a new project. Can go to create a new Firebase project here. Let's give it a name. Let's call it AT training. It's okay for me. It should not have T's. This is still okay. I can just go to continue. And of course, it will give me some terms and conditions. I will just proceed. Everything as default. Here now you have to, we don't need really Google Analytics right now. We can just uncheck this and then we proceed. So it's preparing the project that we are going to work on this case. Okay, as it's preparing the project, the next thing we need is to check if our cloud if our cloud, which project on our cloud, which project are we working on? Currently, I'm working on this project. So this is, I'm working on this project, which is connected to this billing account. So I can also come here to billing account. I see which billing accounts I have because I need that billing account to connect with my Firebase project. So I can come here. These are the current billing accounts. They're connected to this project. Because I want to use this billing account, developer premium, which has access to my credits, and one billing account can only have 3 projects. So I'm going to delete one project from here. Let me change this. Create space for this one so I can assign this to. Okay. Come here to my project. I see my project is ready. You can see my project name here. Okay, the next thing now we are going to do, because we have a project, a Firebase project, which is here, we need to set up a project. A project in this case, because we are going to build a web application. So we can add an app here, and you can see you can add different applications. In this case, we are going to add a web application. So I can just come here to a web application. I just give it a name. Can also give it a training 0K. Register an app, leave everything as default, and it's going to set up. We later on need this code, but we don't need to worry about it. We can just proceed. Okay, now we have one application, which is a web app, and then we of course have a project. Now we need to create, we need to install, remember we want to install Firebase Extensions, which is going to enable us to connect with our Gemini application. So what I'm going to do, I can install the extension directly. Let me fetch the link for the extension. This is the link for the extension. Sorry, I want to copy this link from here. If you come to this here, you're able to see the extensions. This is the build with chatbot with Gemini API. We need this extension. So I'll just go ahead and install this to my console. Of course, it will ask you the project. I want to install this extension to this project. So I will just create on that project, and it's going to do some installation. Installations normally take some few minutes, like 3 to 5 minutes. So I'm also going to open that window for questions. If you have a question, you can also ask as it's installed. So we have to do some few configurations here. It will ask you to do some few configuration. You can just proceed to upgrade, because in this sense, because we need to connect it with a billing account, which I was saying about. So it will ask you to upgrade. So here I need to connect to my billing account. The way you saw here, these are the billing accounts I have. So one of your billing accounts will appear for you to select on which billing account you want to connect with. So in this case, I want to connect to this developer premium. Then, yeah, everything will be okay. I'll just link it with that billing account. Okay, it's done. Next, it will ask you to enable some APIs. Of course, these are the APIs which you are going to use. So automatically, you want to enable these APIs. You enable cloud functions, and also the secret manager here we enable. Okay, we go to next. Next to configuration, there's something we need to do here. Okay, this is just a warning. This is just a warning. We don't need to do this. We need to enable this. This a role like we need to give this a permission to access this service. You can see it's under role something Firebase modifications with service agent. So we want to grant the permission to do it. The permission for it to do for that. And then next we have access to configurations. Configurations, now this year we want to set on how we want to the URLs which will be triggered with this extension. And also we have to connect with the Gemini API. On my previous video, I demonstrated now we can get the Gemini API from AI Studio. So I can also show you today. So if you go to AI Studio, here you have access to create an API key from here. Currently, these are the API keys as I have access to, but you can also generate an API key from here. You give it a name and then you select on the project on which you are working on. So because I have so many keys, I'm not going to create another one. I can just fetch this key and then it's needed here. And create a secret service. It will prompt you to create a secret service. So it will just auto-generate. Okay, let's try again, creating a secret key. Okay, what's the problem? Let me read the error again. It's an error Firebase agent grant access. I think we granted access to thieves. Okay, let's see. There is an error granting Firebase service access to your agent. Okay, let me try another key, different key. TCCIT training. Yeah, I see. We need to. Let me create a new API key. Maybe that one is. Can give it TCCIT training project. I will September this. Create a key. Yep, we'll try this key. I'm not sure if that is the error we are getting before I refresh. Let me use this key. See the error. So I just want to see if everything is okay from up here. It's enabled. Okay. Okay, maybe we can try, of course it's Google AI key. If it doesn't work, let me refresh. I'm not sure of the specific error. So let me come to this extension because I don't need to explore. Let me install it again. I'm not sure of the error. So accept this. These are just the normal readings. I want to enable these again. It's granted. Go to next. Yeah, this is where I want to paste my API key, secret, generate a secret key. Still not working. Yeah, it's done. I don't know what was the issue, but thank God it has worked. So we proceed. We see if there is something else we need to do here. We are going to use the Gemini model. We are under Firestore collection path. This is where we want like the URL to be triggered. For now, let me write messages. I'm going to explain that later on why we do here as messages. This is going to be a prompt, response, and then we leave everything as default as it is. Yep, we install the extension. There's an error, there's a field which needs to be done. Of course, location, we can just use the default TL one, and then we install the extension. It's going to take some time to install, like 3 to 5 minutes for the installation. Okay, as it's installing, and now, as I said again, we need to create a document in Firestore, where now we're going to hold that information. Whatever we're going to receive, we are able to hold that information. So if I come on this side under build, you can see there is this Firestore. Where is Firestore? Firestore databases is here. So we need to create one. We need to create a Firestore here. Currently, let's create a Firestore database, of course, standard. All right, ID, we can just leave it everything as default. We go next to configuration. We can select as test mode, and then we create a Firestore. Okay, so under Firestore, we are going to create what we call collections. Collections is the normal way we have rows, and then rows have values within it, the cells. So we can create a collection here. You can give these as users. Next, document ID, it's needed. We auto-generate for now. Field, because now under fields, like where it's going now to store this where, remember where in the configuration of our Firebase extensions, there's somewhere where we indicated as messages. This is where we indicate that field as messages. And of course, the prompt here, but I don't want to set this because I first want, because this is directly connected to our Firestore extension we were installing. So let me first check if it's ready here. Yeah, sometime it's taking like sometime, I think now like 1 minute should be done. So I open this window. If there is any question, let me look on the chat section and see if there's a question. Okay, no questions so far. Yeah, it's installing. Let's give it some time. Okay. It's installing. Maybe if you have a question about the extensions, maybe on what we have done so far from obtaining the Gemini API key from AI Studio to setting up a Google project maybe, or for setting up a Firebase project. From Firebase project, we have created an app, in this case, a web application. And then now we have set up our Firestore database, which we are currently setting, and our extension is installing. So hopefully it will go through successfully. So yeah, I think now we can proceed to create under Firestore here. You can proceed and create a collection here as users. Here we can give ID as general ID, and then here under field we can give messages. Yeah, I think our installation is ready. You can see the prompt there. So messages. Okay, collection. I want to enable, if we have created a collection as users, given it an ID. Yeah. Let me check on something. The correction under which here I want to give it as users. It's supposed to be auto field. It's messages, if I'm not wrong. String, you can just leave it as it is. Let's see what it does. Yes, under users, we have this ID, and now under users, now we want to create another collection, because under users we have messages. So this is where we have messages. Take a keen look on the URL, how we are changing from users, and then this an ID, and of course now we go to messages. So I want to go to next. Under here, we'll auto generate this ID field. It will be prompt now. We want to save that field as prompt. And then string, for example, because we want to test if this is working directly, we can now give it this prompt something and see if it will generate something as the normal way JSON files does. So I'm going to grab something from our documentation. Let me try to locate a message maybe. Yeah, can tell our prompt to generate maybe 5 random fields to see if it's working. Can do that and then go to next. So we'll see if it works here. This is the prompt. Okay, it's not working. It's supposed to generate a JSON response here. So I'm going to check on that. Let me go here. We have users. From users, we have keys, connection, messages, and then we have We have messages. From messages, we have these prompt. Let's try maybe. Let's first of all, let's check if our extension is okay. Maybe it's because it's not communicating with our extension. I see the extension is okay. Let me check in within it and see the configurations if are okay.
Sorry, excuse me, Rogers. I think people are asking for the extension link.
Extension link, okay. Let me share the extension link on the chat. Shared on the chat. My screen is mirroring. I don't know why, but hopefully you are able to see on the chat. Go back. Yeah, under configurations of our extension, there is this URL prompt response messages. Yeah, it's correct. It's correct. So let me go back to my extension, my Firebase database, and see and try to add the same message. I add a correction ID. Okay, let me check on my documentation. I think I'm missing on something very crucial. Let me check. Okay, I think on our Firestore collection, there's something with the extension configurations. Let me also go here. The path for our, this path. Now we need to configure. I think this is not the full path. I think we are supposed to give it a full path for our collection. That's users. We are telling it to access users, ID, and then under messages. Now we can save it. I think this has really costed us because it will also take 3 to 5 minutes for it to reconfigure again. Yeah, that's where we were missing out. So if we are supposed to come to these users under this ID, under messages, we give it a prompt here. It's supposed to give us a response here, JSON file. The normal way remember we are testing this on our Firebase console. Just the normal way, if you are working on maybe backend, first you need to test your APIs. If you are working maybe using Postman before now taking it to our application. Remember, we have not touched our web app application, which we downloaded from GitHub. We are still on Firebase console testing if everything is working, and then we will go to our web application now to configure things out. Yeah, so it's still installing here. Where is the window for our extension? It's extensions here, so it's still saving. So I want also to give this room if there's someone who has a question and wants to clarification on that. Okay. I think there's no question. You can just continue to monitor our extension from here. Okay, I think as we are installing, we can just proceed to our code. we set things out, you can just come here to our VS Code, where now we have our code. This is our code. We are going to set some few things out. Remember, we have not connected our online web application to our local, like Firebase configurations from online, and then we take it to our application. What we do, we can come here. You can come here to our applications. Let's come here to our applications. We are under AT training. To our app, and then we fetch under settings. We are able to fetch these configurations. These are the configurations which will allow our local web applications communicate with Firebase extensions on our Firebase console. So I'm just going to copy this and then take it to our repo. Under our repo, you can come to source lib. There is Firebase configuration. So you will delete whatever it's here, and then you paste the code which you have downloaded from, which you took from your Firebase console. Here, if you look in here, you are able to see some of the configurations. You can be able to see the API key, your project on which you're working on, the storage bucket, and some configurations, normal configurations for Firebase. So I'm going to save this. And of course, I want to test if I want to install the node packages on this. So I'm going to run node npm install. For it to spin, to install all the dependencies from the package.json. So it's going to install. As it's installing, I want also to go back to our Firebase Studio, Firebase console, and check on our extension. Yeah, I think now our extension is well configured. So I want to come to my Firebase database. If this user with this ID with messages has prompted something to do with, I'm going to copy this, has prompted something, I want to see if it's going to, what's this? Not really, we are supposed to add a field. This is a prompt. The string is as prompted. For example, tell me 5 random fruits. I'm going to add this and see if it works. Where is it? I'm not sure why it didn't add this a prompt and this is a string. Add. Okay, it's already there. Yeah, you see here it has done something. So meaning it's correctly configured, like we are able to send our request to our Firebase extension, and then we are able to fetch our response here. This is a prompt, this is the response. These are the 5 fruits, random fruits that it has given us. And of course, these are the metadata, which we don't need for now, but you can see it's working well. Now it's sending the configurations to our extension over here. Right, I want also to come here to where is our repo here. You can see we have installed our packages, so I want to start the server. We want to start a server. Of course, we get the URL for this localhost. So I'm going to click on this and see if it's spinning, how it's spinning our local application on port 3000. What's it? Yep, as it's loading, maybe I want to clarify something here. We created our extension, and then we created our Firestore database, which is able to hold our document, receive information, and then trigger our extension here. So we have, let me come here. It's taking some time to render, so we can just wait. Meanwhile, I check on the chat. I see if there's an error card while processing the message. Cyprian, you are getting an error card because APIs Gemini. Maybe Cyprian, if you can clarify on which specific process you are, maybe I'm able to advise on where you are getting this specific error.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay, at this point where you're supposed to like add the prompt, like at the collection part.
Adding the collection part, the collection. So I'm assuming you are under this extension where.
Yes, that part.
Yeah, under extension.
Okay, I'm at the Firestore database. So like there's this part of messages, then you're supposed to enter prompt. That is why I'm getting an error.
You are okay, yeah. Now I'm able to get you the error. Your error is related to Gemini. Did you get the correct Gemini API from AI Studio?
Yeah.
Because if I see your error, it's related to Gemini, Flash, Google APIs, okay. Maybe Cyprian, you can hold on. I will let you know to share your screen, and then I am able to see that. Meanwhile, let me see something from this side. We were spinning this. Oh my, I get an error. Users. I'm getting an error, which I don't know. I think it's one of.
Hi, Rajesh.
Yes, hi.
So I'm asking a little bit of help when configuring the extension. I'm getting an error that there must be a valid cloud Firestore collection. So can you please show or send the extensions or the path you're supposed to add?
Okay, for the path, for the extension, we are supposed to add this. Let me actually share the path we are supposed to add for the extension. I'm not quite sure if you capture that well. If you come here, let me copy the path directly from this side. This is the path. Let me paste on chat. I think also the same for Cyprian. You might have copied the wrong path. This is the path we need to put on this here, because what we are trying to do is we are telling our extension, like, any message is going to be triggered from this URL. So if a new message is entered, messages is like a row in our database. So if a new message is added to our database, this URL is going to be triggered, and then it's going to fire back the response. Communicate with Gemini API and then fire back the response. Yeah, hope you got the correct URL. I'm going to check on this. Let me first update my I think I might have missed something. First, let me update my my packages. Okay, let me see. Because if you could, it's supposed to spin, so let me check where it's not spinning the local URL. Maybe something wrong with my modules. The modules are compiling well. Okay. Okay, it's working. So I think there was something wrong with the modules, but if I run again the command, and it's now working well. You see here we have sign in with Google. Let me also come back. There's something which you have not set for our application. So if I want to set the authentication, which will allow our application to sign in with Google. So if I click here, you see I get an error because we have not done authentication. So I will just come here under authentication. I will add an authentication here. I want someone to sign in with Gmail. I will enable this. What's this? Not really. Enable Google sign in for 100 apps, something. I don't know what this is, but I save this. Like, this is the URL which is going to send the authentication to. Okay, so I have enabled the authentication. I will just do a reloading of this again. Yeah, now we are able to log in with our own Gmail account, so I can just give it permission to access it. Okay, so we don't have really a good UI because we are just dealing with the functionality side of things. We don't need to worry about the UI of our application, but we want to test it if it's working. You know, I know they're so good front-end developers here. They can develop a good UI, but for now, we just want to see if our application is working. So here it works. If you fire any prompt, it gives you a response. So what it does is it captures this as a prompt. This is going to be stored through our Firebase database as a message, and then now it triggers, that message column triggers our extension, which is going to fire on Gemini API. So that's how we got this. That's how we got this. We have some more work to do because remember we are building a conference web application. You can now specify on this more general. So far, what we have done is more general, but we want to specify exactly on what our application is all about. So to do some configuration under here on our application page, on our application page, there's where we take in the messages, and then this I've indicated, it's indicated with a prompt. Normally this now, it takes like the random messages from the user, but you can specify that to narrow, like if you have specific instructions on which you want to give your application. Here are some of the instructions. If I come to lib message prepare prompts, here these are the prompts. Like I've narrowed down this. I want my AI to behave like my agent to behave. This is the information I want to give it to the user. So this, it's configured here. So under this page, I can also pick this prepared prompt, and as a passage, I pass it to my AI API, to Gemini API, that is. So I'm going to delete this, and then I leave this, and comment this, because this is the right one. It's supposed to pick the prepared prompt from this, and then pass it to the message side of view things. So if I come here now to my application, let me refresh application here. Maybe I try to say hi. Okay, it gives me time. I'm not sure if it has connect. Oh, I haven't saved this file, so I'm going to save the file. Yes, now it's okay. Refresh. Can I say hi and say, and see the difference on what has happened. Yeah, don't worry about this. It gives some metadata. Here is the response. Hello, welcome to Friendly Conference. I see that this and so many other information. This prompt is engineered from here. It's pre-engineered from here. So meaning you can narrow down your application to specific message that you want to set for the user. So I want to remove this metadata here. So if you come to our page file here, the front page, they see what is something to do with doc. Of course, this is the UI aspect. So I want to remove this line and then comment this. Yeah, this is just for the front-end aspect. I save. If I go back and run this, I'm not supposed to get this error. I guess I mean, I'm not supposed to see. You can see it also now gives you some more options, like it gives you suggestions on which you can select from. Yeah, some more information to know. As you chat with it, it gives you, like, it predicts your path, maybe what you want to ask next. So you see, there's no now that huge metadata which was displayed. Now you have at least a clean display from this side. All right. I think we have demonstrated on this, on how we are going to on how we set the Firestore database and then the extension. And then now we communicate, the extension is able to communicate to our front end through the Firebase configurations, which we put here under lib configuration, Firebase configurations, which we picked from our console. That's how it's able to communicate. All right, we have dealt with the part side of text. But remember, Gemini is multimodal, meaning you can deal with also images. So I want to check if there's any question before we proceed to multimodal. Now, if we want now to send the image to our prompt, and then the prompt is able to, decode what's in the image and maybe give back the response to the user. Right, let me see here. Google API key is got from which link? Okay, we are getting Google API key from this link. So if you come here, if you let me post, sorry, post the link here. This is where we are. This is where we get the Gemini API key. Oh, not that link. Sorry, I want to paste this. I want to copy. AI Studio. Yes, this exact link where you will get your Gemini API key. If you come to this site, there's a down here you get on your bottom left you get where you have to create an API key, and then you are able to get an API key from here. Give it a name, connect to a project. Yep, I think your question is answered. Don't see another question. All right. Next, we want to now enable extension for multimodal. Remember here what we need extensions for text. I want to enable extension for multimodal. Now where you can send images to Gemini, and then Gemini is able to decode. So let me fetch the link for the extension from my documentation. Okay, this is the link for now extension for multimodal. Remember, normally you don't have to get the exact link. Here under extensions, you have an option to explore more extensions. If you know the exact name of the extension, you can always come here and search the name of the extension. So if I search on multimodal, you see it's here. So this is what I need to install. Anyway, you can install directly from here. You don't have to grab a link. That's because I wanted to shorten some process. You can always search for extensions. So I want to install that. If I click that, it will direct me to this page where I'm able to click on the project which I want to install. We are working on AT training. So I click on that. I see some settings here, so I want to go to next. Firebase, we have to enable Firebase storage, so I will enable that as a test. Press next. Yeah, done. And then next, there is an error, non-error occurs. Please refresh. Yeah, this normally occurs on first time, so let me refresh the page. It's supposed to work. Okay, it's taking some time. Okay. Let me refresh this page. Maybe try if I am able to take a shortcut. It's refreshing. Now I go on to next. Next. Okay. Remember, we need to do some configurations here. So still we are going to use Google API from Google AI. So from this point, so I will just go proceed to this side and pick one of my API key which I created, and then I come and paste it here. I will create a secret key. Okay, the same error, the usual process now is successive. Under Firestore collection path, because now I want to change the path now to your to gallery. Now somewhere where I am able to store my images, I can change this to gallery, where I can, put my images can be stored. Prompts. Let me also confirm whether that's the correct path for this, because if I change this, if I change, this is the gallery and the prompt, yeah, because this image, we just leave this. It's a spelling mistake here. It's no error. Yeah, this is the correct path. Prompt is what you need, what you want to be done on that image, whether you want to describe an image, or remember, depending with your use case. For example, if it's a farmer who has uploaded an image, you can prompt it like to identify the disease from that particular crop. So if it has the disease, to analyze the image. So for this case, let me use this prompt. This is the prompt. Like, it's like configurations. What I have done, I've instructed our extension, like, I don't know if I'm able to see the full prompt, but this is what I've done, like, please describe the provided image. If there's no image, do this, say there's no image. Yeah, that's the prompt. And for the image field, I want to pick it from the image. Remember the way we were picking from prompt? Now, this, I want to give this field as image. Remember, we are also going to do that the same on our Firestore database. We have done as image, and then output, of course, response. Crowd function location, we can just leave it as US East 1, US Central 1. And other configurations, remember temperature, these are related to how you want your model to respond, whether you want your model to be more fun or something to think out of the box, some things, but you can leave everything as it is, as default, other things, and then we install the extension. Again, it's going to take, like, it's installing, it's going to take like 3 to 5 minutes. So as it's installing, we can just change tab and go to our Firestore database. Now we set the fields which we did. But before that, because not really here, because we need, remember we needed to create a Firestore storage for handling the images. You can come to build under database, there's here storage. We need to create a storage, a bucket, that's to store our things, our images, to be more specific, so I can get started. Region, I want it to be like this. I can continue, test mode, create. So we have created our storage, like a bucket where we want to store our images. It's going to take some time. Okay, that's created. We want to create a folder. Remember, we named at our Firebase extension, we name that folder as, we give the path as gallery. So we want to create here a folder. Where is the button to create? Yeah, here we create a folder, we name it gallery, exactly the way we named it in our extension. So we have that folder. Yeah, so under that folder, if you come here, but if we upload our image, we expect to get, the response. We expect to get our Firebase extension to describe our image the way we instructed it. But first of all, I want to check if that extension is ready. It's not ready still, so we can just wait, and then when it's ready, we can upload our image and see what happens. Okay, I will take this moment also to answer some questions if there's any question on what we have done so far. Right, any question? And my screen is really mirroring, I don't get the reason why, but I think hopefully things are very okay from your end. All right, any question? Is intercollection supposed to be used? Leonard, is intercollection supposed to be used? Okay, yeah, I get it, because you're asking from the images. Okay, for storage, it's kind of different. It's kind of different because we are not going to use Firestore in the Firestore database. In this case, we are using storage. So under this storage, let me go back to my tab again. It's installing. So let's give it a little time so I'm able to answer this correctly. Yeah, but I get your question, Leonard. I will come to that. Does file extension matter for image stored? Not really, as long as it's JPEG, PNG, it works fine. The extension doesn't matter, as long as it's an image. Yeah, Leonard, I will answer you this on why you are not using users ID gallery something. All right, let me check again on my extension. Maybe Leonard, I can be answering you that. Remember, with the multimodal, we are dealing with storage. We are dealing with the storage side. So it's going to pick any image which is uploaded here and describe that image. You can see the difference from storage and Firestore database. For Firestore, it's like documents in JSON file. You need to give the complete path for it to detect. For example, documents we have users has to enter a prompt. For this side storage, let me also check on this. At the same time, it's almost, let's just wait and open and see under configurations on what we have done. Okay, it's done. Yeah, it's done. We can go to our configurations. We have configuration. Extension configurations. For the collection path, here we put this as gallery, and then the image field to be here. Maybe not the correct way I can answer you this this extension knows that we are dealing, it's a Firebase extension. Remember, it has the fields, it knows the fields are configured the way the extension, what the extension wants. So for this Firebase extension, we have we have Firestore collection path because it knows like we are going to use storage in this sense. And also it has the image field. That's why in our storage, we created a gallery storage bucket, and then under that we have image. Let me also go back to this extension. Multimodal extension. Yeah, and then under that image field, you are going to get the image. This image, we are going to create it from the Firestore database as a document, because Firestore is like our main connection, like our first entry point to our application. I think, let me explain this by doing that. We have created a storage here. Under this storage, we can insert any image. Let me upload an image for now. Let me select an image from our localhost. Yeah, maybe let me upload my image. Say, okay. I have uploaded my image. Now this, I'm going to proceed to Firestore database now, because everything is going to be triggered from here. But here now I want to remember we have one collection as users, but now I want to add another collection because this is a gallery. I need to create another collection for a gallery. So let me check on that. So under this, I will just create a collection. We named it as gallery. I can't remember where. Gallery. I create this as a connection ID. I will auto generate under field, because I want to pick. Remember, we have instructed like go to gallery and then pick a field. This field will let it be image. And then I will add another field because we want to test if it's working. This field, I'll give it as a prompt. Set a value. I've given it gallery image string print. I'm supposed to pick a URL from my image. Just before this, I want to come here to where we upload our image. I pick this URL. Let me see. Where can I get a file location? Yeah, this is the URL which I need. I want to copy this URL. I want to demonstrate on what happens when we get a request from our application, and then what happens, what fires, how it happens, and then it fires our extension. So I will copy this, and then I will come to our Firestore application. Firestore database, Firestore application. Under here, I'm supposed to start. I'm not quite sure if I start a new collection, but yeah. Let me test something. I'm not quite sure here because we have a user who with this ID or something. So I think this is where I'm supposed to create a collection. Collection ID, let it be gallery. I'm trying out something. Let me, we auto generate field, want it to be image. Image is supposed to give me more fields. I'm not quite sure why it's not doing that. Yeah, let me refer to my document. I think I'm missing something out. My documentation. You're supposed to start a collection and then we put our ID as gallery. Okay. Okay, we are supposed to from my documentation, it says, if I come here, I'm supposed to create another correction as gallery. Yeah, of course, this will indicate the path. Go to next, document ID, I will auto generate. Field, we are supposed to input image. Image in the value box, but right where we are, we don't have a value box. But let me just put the URL here. I see it works. If that's what they really need. Yeah, I think it has done some processing part here. Okay, so what we need from this section, we need to create a collection as a gallery path. This, we are going to, of course, we give it an ID. From there, we give it a field, an image. So it locates this gallery from the extension. And the extension path we gave to access it, the gallery folder, and then we assigned that field as image. That's what we have done exactly here. So it picks this image from this, and then it's able to fire back the request to our extensions. Yep. You really don't need to master this. Sometimes it can be confusing under what collection you have to create, but yeah, I think you see the process, and sometimes also you have to refer back to your documentations when we are dealing with multimodal, which fields collection you have to have out the document and the path, and also the same case when you are dealing with text on the text side. So let's see, it gave out the output here, and it described that image correctly. I see here is the image. The image is a graphic for a workshop, of course, which is true with the image which I uploaded. So from the backend side, it's working. So we can proceed to our front end side, and we can proceed to our front end side and see if it works. So I can just come here. I go to gallery tab. I can drop any image. Let's drop another image. Image, there is an image of paint. I don't know. So it's uploading. Yeah, and it gives a description. Here is an image. The image has, of course, paint for so much information here. So sorry. Okay. So sorry. It's working well. It's able to fire back our request to our Firebase extensions, and we are able to get the feedback. Yep. I think also you have seen how the UI is not good, but the functionality side, of course, which we are testing things, it's working well. Yes, we can also try with another image here and see what happens. So this is an image for, here is an image for, let me look for image of food or something. Let's download an image from online. Let's download an image of ugali and sukuma wiki. We test this image. I can download this image. Go to my application. I upload this image for under. Where's the image? Yeah, of ugali. So I'm expecting it to describe this image. Okay, so we are supposed to get a response. Sorry, where's the response? Let me upload again. Not quite sure why it didn't display anything. Yeah, so this is also the multimodal side of things. So far we have tested the text part and also the multimodal. You see here is an image that shows a plate of food, likely ugali with sukuma wiki, which is correct. Yeah. Any questions so far? Because actually this is where we are coming to an end. Let me see if we have question on the chat. Okay, maybe as we are getting questions, someone might ask, where can we specifically apply this? Let me pull this here, this side. So on the side of things, I correctly like the use cases. I know you are very creative. You know, once you have the functionality, anything you can create anything you can imagine of. So you are only limited by your imagination. Here are just some few use cases which you can use this. For example, you have an application for a farmer, and you want a farmer to upload an image. Maybe if he wants to see if a crop has a disease or not. So you can take an image of a crop and then send it, and expect to get the feedback, treatments, and what next steps a farmer can do. If it's a disease, on what steps can do, or if it's healthy, on what steps can do. So you can use Firestore, or maybe and also send from the SMS. It can be from the SMS side of things, or just from a web application. So if a farmer sends an SMS, for example, you have built an application using Africa's Talking API, which takes in the SMS. So it will, Africa API will communicate with the Firestore database. It will trigger that to send the information to Gemini, and then Gemini will give that response to Africa's Talking API, and then the farmer or the user can get the response on what he's supposed to do. Another use case, maybe you can build a bot, offline bot, maybe I'm not really offline bot, a bot that maybe takes in from SMS SMS that consumes SMS API or WhatsApp or web application API. So assuming you have an API from Africa Stocking that takes in a user, you can build a support bot where users can interact with Gemini API by the help of Firestore extensions. And of course, Firestore database will be the one which will be triggering responses. So if someone messages, this is a life cycle. So if someone sends an SMS, this SMS will go to, in our use case currently, it will go to messages field. So because it's a new field, it will trigger that to fire the Firebase extension for Gemini to give the response, and then from there you can be able to communicate with the APIs, APIs, backend. Yeah. Also, you can build a learning or a revision tutor where if it's a multimodal, for example, where you can upload documents and then, a student can get on what's in the documents. Also, the student can be interacting with SMS or something. You can also build a AI every information line. For example, if a user wants to text or with an image, for example, it's an injury, you can just take a picture and send it to the application and then get the response, whether it's text, image, or voice. Okay, I think that's maybe use cases, but as I said, like you are only limited with your imaginations. The more you imagine, the more you come up with a product. Everything is there for you, like the architecture. So for you is to just imagine and build applications. I know there are so many rewards to be awarded. So if you imagine well, if you go sit down and utilize what we have learned today, and now you are able to come up with a very powerful application. Yep, I think from this side, that's my end. Maybe I look on the chat and see if there's any question. Is there a way to see the cost of all the actions we have done in Firebase storage, RAM calls, etc? Okay, yeah, you can see the cost. For example, here we are using Gemini API, which is connected to your cloud project. It's not so much costly because for you to incur a very huge cost, you need to do a lot of bulky work or bulky requests to the API, but you can always see the cost. For example, if I come to my billing account, if I come to my billing account here, I can select, because I'm working on this, remember you have your billing projects. If you have redeemed cloud credits, most likely it's going to be named as Google Cloud Platform Trial Billing Account. So if I click on this billing account, because it's the one which is connected with my project, for example, I'm able to see the costs here. Of course, I'm not using this billing account. Let me maybe use something which you can relate. Because this is the project I'm working on, this is the billing account I'm connected, but it will be biased because I'm using other applications on this project, but this is where it will display your usage. Don't worry about this. This project is connected with other applications, so it's not going to give me like what's I've used for this session. But remember, it's going to show you the kind of the projects you are working on, how much it has consumed, and if you have access, and the services which actually consume that project. Remember, I'm using this project. So if I come on credits, and of course, you can check on how much you are remaining with the credits side of things. Yeah, you can always see the usage of the credits on which you are working on. So yeah, as I said again, for my use case, I'm using so many other projects are running on my credit, so it's not able to display the correct information. But if you are working on a billing account, let me, for example, take you to account. You are able to see your usage. If you click on credits, you are able to see on how much is remaining. And of course, here at the overview, it will always be displaying how much you have used so far. And maybe if you want to restrict your budget, you can set budget alerts. If I want my application to use $2, when it uses $2, it gives me alert. You can always set a budget here, like this is what I want to use monthly. I don't want to exceed this. If it gets to this level, just give me a notification. You always have the controls from this side. Right, I think that's well answered. Okay, which path on Google Skills should I select to access the Colabs and the modules? Okay, currently you have skills, boost skills. What's in the exact URL? Cloud boost skills. There are so many courses here. For cloud, if you want to, from the cloud side of view, but also the link which I shared for Firebase. Firebase also has its own documentations on code labs which you can work on. For example, what we have been working on, it's one of the code lab or one of the workshops. So you can always find code labs for Firebase from this URL. Let me fetch the URL. If I come to Firebase Collabs, hopefully this is the correct URL. Oops. Firebase. Okay, there is code labs for Firebase that are tailored specifically for Firebase. Maybe I will fetch that URL and the URL will be sent later to your emails. Yeah. So, but for cloud, you can always access from this. Where is that link again? Not sure. From cloud boost skills, you have all the courses. From this side, sometimes it requires some credits, and of course you have access to credits, the credits which you redeemed. So you are able to take code labs from this side using your Gmail account, right? I think that's well answered. If there is also another question, but else I can check my time is over. Thank God we finished whatever we were working on today. So maybe if you have any question before I hand it over to Michael. Okay, so whatever we have done today, I'm going to share whatever resources that I've used today. That's the slides, also the documentation, all the links which I've shared. I'm also going to share again the documentation, the GitHub repo, maybe where you can get your Gemini API key from. So I'm going also to share all that. Thank you so much. That was my time. I give it back to Michael. Yes, Michael, you can take it over.
Yes, thank you so much, Rogers. That is a fantastic presentation. In fact, you have really carried so well, carried it well, and even I can see from the comments the kind of questions. So the secret of these guys is just to, after this, now you can go and do this lab yourself, start connecting, what is being shared here and what you like to build to showcase that you have understood all the modules and you can put them into use. So I'll be sharing all the videos in the next event, which will be happening on 28th. It will also be virtual. But if you're in Nairobi, you are welcome to join us at Nairobi Garage. You can host up to like 70 people. So feel free. But also, even for us in Nairobi Garage, you'll be joining virtually. That is Spring Valley. It will still be hosted by Rogers. He will now be extending this session to the next module whereby he explores how do you work with the SDKs and so on and so forth. So if you've not watched his last session, which happened the day before yesterday, the next event that is going to be published in the next 20 minutes will have all the recordings, including the Africa Stocking recordings that happened a couple of weeks ago. And not to worry, guys, we are building momentum, especially for those who are in Nairobi, Lagos, and Joburg. There will be an in-person huge event. But if you're coming to these sessions, you should get the same experience as the people who will meet in person, and you'll have like a head start on some of these modules. So feel free to join the Slack channel. The URL is on the chat. Also check out the playlist that I shared earlier, and it will be shared in the blurb that I'm gonna publish in a few, so that you're up to date. Also, as we part short, just to thank you for your time and also following along while you're building, and encourage you even the next session, please switch on your video, let's interact, let's make it as as interactive as in-person session. And I can see a couple of experts on the call also following along. So you are in good hands, and we want all of you to succeed and get certified. Those of you who are closing those labs, keep posting the badges for you to be scheduled for prizes, as well as bragging rights. But as I say, the biggest takeaway from this session until December is a skill set that you'll build to be able to build in this realm of technology, where you showcase your expertise in building on AI. Without further ado, unless there is any question, Francis says he's getting a green screen. I can see Meso. I think you need to reload your screen. Sometimes some browsers come with do not allow to share screen by default. But once you accept that feature, then of course you should be able to see the screen as it's shared. Remember also the platform you're using is GDPR compliant, so everything has to be given permission from your side. So that's why we're using this specific platform. I don't know if there's any other person. I see Oliver try to diagnose this. But all of you, up to 1,000 people, when you join, you'll have your camera ready and your microphone ready. So feel free even to unmute and interrupt the speaker so that the speaker can know that you're following along. Assume you're in the same room with the speaker. That's the beauty of this presentation. Always ask questions to understand, because we are not here to just pass through the material and then you're like, we're done, next. We want you also to be able to be on the same page with the speaker, with the experts in the room. Remember, some of the speakers here are certified in different fields, and they are willing to share this knowledge with you, for free. All you require from you is your time. So without further ado, my name is Michael Kimadi. To thank Graham Muhanga, Oliver, who is our, connect when it comes to streaming and all that. He's the one who has made it possible for you to get all this stream going on Twitter or X, YouTube, LinkedIn. We appreciate your work, Oliver. We have Dagi, who has done like 3 sessions in the last couple of weeks. We had Mainya on the line. We have Sylvia. We have Ian among the Africa Stocking support and Google support. I saw Eunice Alela on the call previously. So you are in good hands. And one of these days, you'll see John Kimani himself. And just to thank Google and Africa Stocking for this initiative to reach more developers. With that said, I'd like to wish you a good evening and a good afternoon for those of you who are in the West Africa. Until next time, happy coding.